Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Wendy De Rosa, and I am so thrilled that you are here on this webinar, and even that you're curious about the question, how do I become an intuitive healer? And the reason I'm so thrilled about this is that it's a marker of a huge progression and change in our consciousness, that this is even a question, that this is even an idea that people are seeking, and it's indicating how much people are getting in touch with their gift, with their intuitive nature and their gift. And perhaps you have had some awareness about this intuitive ability, or you're curious, or you're answering a deep call from within to help people. Maybe you have a skill in a particular field like nursing, or you've done some sort of home, it's a healthcare, health aid, assisting people, or not. Maybe it's just this deep calling. And this is such a powerful time. We're in such a powerful time where we are being asked to step in and understand our gifts and to actualize them in the world. And so this concept of becoming an intuitive healer is your step in to yourself and understanding who you are, who you're here to be, and the vibrancy that lives inside you. We really only actualize a fraction of our potential inside ourselves in a lifetime, but the capability and the possibility of that potential inside us is immense. And if we're given the right tools and sometimes the right teacher, the right guide in the process, we can absolutely step fully in to this gift and this ability as an intuitive healer. So I'm glad you're here, and I'm glad you're on the path of seeking. And I'm hoping in this video to be able to give you kind of an insight and understanding as to what it means to be an intuitive healer, and perhaps what might be going on for you in terms of the path in understanding your intuition, and maybe where the path you've walked to get here. And also to help you understand what it means to be of service to people in this lifetime and as a healer. And also at the end of the video, I'd love to just give you an opportunity to learn more about how to work with me personally if you do want to deepen your study and receive a training, a certification of an intuitive healer certification within the School of Intuitive Studies. So you can stay tuned for that at the end. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and my journey into intuitive healing, so you understand where I'm coming from. I think that's important to know in when you're about to learn from a teacher, where their resources and education came from. So I was born in a big Italian Catholic family on the East Coast in Connecticut in the United States, and I was one of 8 kids. I was the oldest girl in a family of 8, and I was extremely sensitive as a child. And what I know now is that there are 4 aspects of our intuition, which I will explain in a little bit. But in those 4 aspects of intuition, I had all 4 of them, which sounds nice and quite a gift, but to a child, it's extreme overwhelm and overload of information. There's information coming into my system in various areas of my body, and I did not have a filter for that. In addition to that, I had this natural caretaking quality in me. I was parenting my siblings at a very young age, and I just knew how to do it changing diapers at 7 years old, just knew how to do it, and so I would progress in my life. I was very responsible, overly responsible. Everyone's emotions were something I needed to take care of or fix or create peace around, or even isolate. I would go into my own internal world to try and figure out how to maneuver and manage all of this extra energy that was going around me. And this progressed, and by the time I was 12, I had 21 families in my neighborhood I would babysit for. By the time I was 14, I was subcontracting half of those out to my sister, who was then 12. I mean, I was like running a caretaking service since I was young. And I was very self-motivated, and that came with a lot of internal pressure. And by the time I was 19 years old, I was having a series of anxiety attacks through my, or panic attacks through my high school years, trying to do well in school, and then also this, added stress on top of it. And then by the time I was 19, I had a full-blown nervous breakdown, and I was hospitalized, and I was put on medication, and that was before I was even asked if I needed therapy or wanted therapy or wanted someone to talk to. So in that time, I knew that I needed support and not necessarily the medication for me at that time. So I took myself off of it, and it was only on it for a week or two before I really was coming to and realizing that I just needed someone to talk to. And to make a very long story short, I'm having these very huge soul callings coming from my heart, like beaming from my heart, like get out of here and go out west. Just go out west. And I didn't know at the time, and my story kind of, sort of lined up in a way that I was able to understand, but I had to live through the process of trusting this call, which was to go to Colorado and begin my journey. And I'm going to skip through some of the story to say that I finally made it out to Colorado, and I found my healing teacher, and she just affirmed that I had this ability to be very sensitive and intuitive, that I had this intuitive ability and that I could really be using it to help people. And if I knew how to harness it and develop it, then it wouldn't be such a burden to me, wouldn't be such an overwhelming, taking me down experience. And so I studied with her for a couple years, and then she left. She moved away. And this was before social media existed or Facebook. There was the good old-fashioned telephone, which didn't make it easy for me to continue my studies with her. And so I ended up having to find my own way in this world of figuring out my aspect of intuition. And I developed through my own prayer practice, through my own, I was an avid yogi, so I was deep in my yoga practice and my yoga studies, and really developing my channel for grace inside my being. And through that deep commitment to nourishing and strengthening my interior, I was connecting to spirit guides and angels and to the divine realm, and really receiving a lot of downloads, spiritual downloads, teachings, wisdom would be coming through me. And you may know, if you're an intuitive and have had a similar experience and story, when there's like a piece of information that comes through you, and then you hear it other places, other teachers have said it, or other, you learn, somebody else says it somewhere, and you thought, oh my gosh, I got, that came through me, I got that. And that's the power of divine truth and divine wisdom, is that it's a resonance within each being. It awakens through us, that work, that essence and that message. So I was getting these downloads and being asked to step in to being a healer. And I missed this part of the story to say, back early on in my childhood, I was a musician. I would, in my alone time, I would spend a lot of time at the piano writing songs. And I immersed myself in music. It was my healing agent. And when I reached my 20s, my primary interest was to become a rock star, to become a musician, and to play all around the country. And so I was on this like ego-driven, I have to go for this musician thing. But I was incredibly wounded, and I was pursuing it from all the wrong places. And so I'm getting injured, essentially, and re-injuring myself by pushing from ego, while I'm having this experience from spirit guides and angels and my higher self, and this profound awakening that's happening, saying, go for this gift. It's right here. Why don't you just say yes to it, Wendy? And I'm saying, no. I don't want to be a healer. I want to, I want to do this music thing, and clients are calling, and I'm getting referred to. And meanwhile, I'm thinking, that's my side job. Really, I just want to be a musician. I keep banging my head against the wall over and over again. And I have a lot of tragedies that happen through music, a lot of hurt, a lot of heartache. My music got stolen, my guitar got stolen, my journals got stolen, I mean, my equipment got stolen, like everything was being taken away from me. And finally, here I'm in my mid-20s, I'm young when this is happening. I finally said yes to it. I finally said, okay, I accept, I'm willing to do it. And by the time I was 30, I had over 500 clients, and I was absolutely immersed and stepped into this calling. I just said yes, and I was willing to do it. And I was very connected with spirit and allowing this information to come through me. And from there, from clients, people were asking, how do you do this work? And people were having profound experiences. They wanted to learn. I started to develop classes, local classes where I was living, which then evolved into a training program. And that's what I offer now, is the Intuitive Healer Training Program. And I was teaching that program all around the country. And also, after now, fast forwarding some years here, but I had a child, and that's now shifted the format to a bit of an online and in-person experience. But I love the in-person component of connecting with my students and with them connecting with me and being able to have that transmission experience, because that is what is really needed to definitely to certify a healer, maybe not necessarily to guide the process. You can certainly learn a process virtually, but there is a powerful transmission experience that happens from teacher to student. And I have been on the student side of that, and I've also been on the teacher side of that. And there's just no question that in-person time is so valuable. So that is my story and how I'm here in front of you. Since then I've written books, and I've been on CBS News, and I've been on Mind Valley and the Shift Network, and I've been teaching around, and I'm here to now guide you a little bit further into this understanding about how to become an intuitive healer. And I want to start by just defining what an intuitive healer is. So an intuitive is someone who is able to hear the voice of their soul, or hear the voice of spirit, communicating through their consciousness. That's ultimately what intuition is. We're able to go beneath consciousness to feel and sense what's happening beneath the surface, and we're able to perceive or feel or sense or know information. And that comes through our conscious awareness. So that's intuition. An intuitive healer has the ability to do that. The intuitive can see, sense, feel, or even hear information that's coming through. Earlier, when I said there were 4 aspects of intuition, that's our seeing, our hearing, our feeling, and our knowing. So clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, claircognizant. Those are aspects of our intuition. Basically, what that means is I'm taking in information through various places in my body. And that's what's important to know when we're developing intuition, is that intuition isn't coming just through the senses up here. It's actually coming through various places in the body. I'm going to get to that in a minute. So the intuitive is able to perceive that information. So you can be intuitive and take in that information. The healer part is that a healer is an administrator of transformation. So a healer has the ability to take that information that's coming in and to transform that, either that information or the process. So a healer is able to take somebody from their state of consciousness from point A to point B. So I'll give you an example of what that may look like. So let's say I'm intuiting information that something somebody's doing doesn't feel good to me. I'm going to take that information in. That's my intuition. I'm sensing something. There's some action happening. It's not feeling good to me. The intuitive is going to stay there. This isn't feeling good to me. I don't know what to do with this information. What do I do? And then because we don't know what to do with it, we might sit with it. We might panic on it. We might, get ungrounded with it. We might go into anxiety, start to unravel. The mind may race. There's sort of an unraveling. The healer aspect says, I'm intuiting this information. Let me tune into myself and see what it's touching within me, to see what's activating. Let me feel into this. Let me breathe into it. Let me get a sense of what's happening here and breathe into it. And as I breathe into it, I realize, oh, I'm getting triggered by this person's action, which doesn't feel good to me. What do I need to do about that? I need to create a boundary. I need to speak up for myself. I need to say something to this person or not, or I just need to remove myself from the situation. Whatever is true is going to come out of being able to sit with, how do I transform from shock? I'm here, I'm feeling this information, may not be shock, but just that sense, to how do I transform from that state of being to working with that and coming to a place of empowerment around it, as opposed to intuiting information and losing power, losing ground, losing sense of self. So the healer for self is about embodying that quality of, I'm going to help pacify and transform this situation. Now, you may have this innate healer quality energy in you anyway, which is maybe why people come to you. They're attracted to you. They love your energy because you have this innate ability to take the energy and transform it for the person. And that works until it really doesn't work, until you get overwhelmed, until you're walking around with the energy of others. And this is what happens when our energy system is not trained. It's not trained on how to be grounded in your center, and how to have boundaries, and how to take someone's energy or take someone's experience, hold yourself in it, and provide support for that person without transforming, without losing yourself. So what do I mean by this? It's not trained. So when we're children, empathic people, intuitive people, when we are children, there is an extra sensitivity that is just part of you, and it's a gift. And it might not have felt like a gift, but it's absolutely a gift. Now, if for many people, we weren't, I'm making a big generalization here, but many people were not trained in how to be sensitive, how to have your feelings, how to take care of your sensitivity, how to take care of your body. This wasn't really the like added in parenting, for many years. What normally or commonly has happened is that people, sensitives, have grown up in an environment where the conditioning was such that your boundaries were crossed often. So you're sensitive, and now you're living in an environment, in a tribe or a home, where there could be yelling and screaming, where there could be projection, where there could be ungroundedness, where there could be trauma. There could be the experience that it's maybe not said, but it's demonstrated to you that it is your job to take the responsibility of the emotional temperature of the room, just because you carry yourself that way. Instead of the parent saying, oh, honey, that's not yours. Don't take that on. Take some deep breaths and just blow that out. Let it go, let it go, let it go. That is not yours. And here's where you are. And let me help you figure out your feelings. Because when you're having this conflict on the school ground with your friends, let me help you figure out what's theirs and what's not yours, and where you stand in yourself. This type of, and this might be evolved for a young child. It might be more, a little younger or middle-aged child, but starting that conversation about having a child acknowledging a child's sensitivity level, and having concern and care for that child's sensitivity level, even if the parent didn't know how to fix it, didn't know how to make it better. Just the fact that there was the thought and the consciousness and the parenting and the concern is actually nurturing for a developing, sensitive, intuitive. So here's what's happening. Now, the training that's forming in the body is that it is very normal for me to be in situations where my boundaries can easily be crossed. And it's normal for me to feel like it is my responsibility to take on this energy around me and fix it, to heal it, do something with it, transform it, because there's an innate healer in there. But what I'm referring to here is the consciousness that has formed in the lower chakras of your body, the first, second, and third chakras. That's the untrained area. That's the area of your body that's operating on conditioning and programming and belief systems that you were born into, that you marinated in those early years. The heart chakra upward can be absolutely high functioning. Absolutely. We can be intentional. We can have goodwill. We can have the desire and the longing and just very clear in our intentions on what we want. But this lower half of the body has got a mind of its own because it's untrained. It's unconditioned in how to be embodied in your power and in your gift. So the healer now is learning how to go back. That is the work, to learn to go back into these lower chakra areas of the body, the consciousness here in the first chakra. When did I start to contract my root chakra? When did I start to get afraid and feel like I can't belong in my body? I just can't be here. I can't ground into myself. I can't feel myself. Instead, I feel everything else. I can't feel me. When this is the retraining is how do we heal and open and clear all the programming and the belief systems held in that time period, 0 to 7 years old, in the root chakra. And then in the second chakra, how do I allow myself to have my feelings, to be able to reverse all of that conditioning, that it's not okay for me to cry. It's not okay for me to have my anger. It's not okay for me to even to have any emotion or to respond when I feel guilty. Instead, I have to act out from my emotions. I have to, react instead of actually feel them. The intuitive, the empathic intuitive specifically, the empathic intuitive learns how to make space for other people's energy by disregarding their own feelings. And we do that because we didn't know it was okay to have the feeling. And so an empathic intuitive will move out of their body a little bit. Will just push themselves aside. I'm just going to step over here a little bit to make space for to make space. Actually, you're doing it to preserve yourself, to put your spirit preserves itself when it moves to the side a little bit in order to cope with life. And then in the second chakra area of the body, you're completely absorbent, taking care of everybody. That's the mothering power center. Mothering the world, taking care of everyone in the womb. So healing here is about detoxing everybody, stepping yourself back in, retraining the young child, the little you in this area of your body of how to be in your power around your emotions, how to feel that in your body, how to embody that, and then how to be that in the world. It's retraining this area of the body. In the third chakra, I'm not going to go through the whole chakra system, but these first 3 chakras are everything in terms of retraining and developing the healthy intuitive healer. This third chakra is about navigating in life and figuring out where you are in relationship to the world, which helps you develop your healthy sense of self, your ego, your healthy ego, and your confidence. But if this power center feels, if there's a sense of insecurity and the root chakra is contracted and you feel like you don't belong here in this body, this power center is going to blow open looking for anything to cord to find security, to find safety, to feel like you belong. It wants to bond to something. So it's going to open up and just be an open channel to take in the world through the solar plexus. So again, this is what it's overly sensitive and very overly empathic intuitive will do when the system is untrained in how to be in your intuitive gift in the world. So the feeling is, I don't know that I want to become an intuitive healer because I'm already healing everybody. But you're not. You're actually absorbing everybody's energy, and you're certainly not occupying self and stepping into your power and allowing yourself to have your emotional center and your grounding in a way that allows people to transform their own energy in their own body, which is what happens when we step into the healer gift, when we truly are able to hold these power centers and be able to come into our healthy, intuitive healer ability. So the process here is about how to retrain the energy programming held in these lower three chakras. That's the first step of the process. And then from there, then we start to move into the soul calling. Then we start to move into the expansion, the spirit, the healer self, starting to develop and opening up more and more on the heart level. Sometimes if these lower chakras are unhealed and we're open on the heart chakra level, we're all heart. And when we lose self, we just give too much away from the heart. But an open heart is not about having an open front of your heart chakra. The open heart is about having an open back side of your heart chakra, which is where you take in grace and self-love. It's the back of your heart. It's where the spiritual heart opens up, and you're connected more to your divine mission and your purpose here on this earth. And you walk this path energetically, spiritually, from the back of your heart into the center of your heart. And you allow spirit to engage with your humanness, with your human heart. And from there, we're offering and giving from a place of being filled and sourced by spirit, instead of giving all our heart chakra energy away and losing self. You know, in the heart, if we live in the front of the heart only, that's to the universe, that's our only way of giving and receiving love, is through the front side of the heart. If I give to you, I expect that you're going to give back to me in some way. And if you don't, I'm going to feel resentful and unmet. I'm going to build up resentments. And this is conditional love. This is conditional love. And this is where the healer gets hurt. If the healer invokes the backside of the heart and allows grace and prayer and connection to the divine in through the backside of the heart chakra, then we're sourced. Then we're filled up with light. Then we're receiving. And that light knows what we need more than we know what we need. It goes exactly where we need it to go. And we take that light in, and it unfurls the lotus flower in the center of the heart and allows our spiritual consciousness to be present here. And that's where we start to operate and move in the world from clear consciousness and from purpose. So if you're feeling the call to being intuitive, to being an intuitive healer, most likely spirit is knocking on the back door of your heart chakra and saying, wake up, wake up, wake up. There's a gift here. There's a gift here. And I'm going to keep nudging you in this direction to keep looking and seeking and finding your way to opening that gift up. And if that feels like that's happening for you, then you take that light into the center of your heart. And the next step would be to say, yes, I accept the mission. I accept the calling. I'm willing, and may the path open. So when I'm looking for students in terms of, I don't necessarily look, but when what I'm looking for in students is that students are feeling that call, because that indicates to me that there is an untapped aspect of self that needs to be actualized in this life. And it's one of my gifts to be able to bring that forward, to guide you forward in that process. To be an intuitive healer is twofold. First of all, it's about healing your own wounds and your own blocks first and foremost, because you need to be a clear vessel. And if there are issues and wounds and blocks and clogs in the pathway, then you are not going to feel, you're going to just get triggered, quite honestly, doing healing work. All your stuff is going to get triggered. And you know what? Our stuff does get triggered when we do healing work. It just does. And we need it to. We need it to come up. We need to see it. We need to acknowledge it. We need to be able to clear it. But to be a healer in the world, not having worked with, or even the tools on how to work with your own stuff, it doesn't set you up for longevity. You can drain and crash pretty quickly. So what I'm interested in most is developing the healthy, intuitive healer. So what that means to me is that a person who feels called to this gift understands what it feels like to be embodied. And in that embodiment process, it is about clearing out the muck in the body, what you came into this world with, what you developed in this lifetime, what the conditionings and programs and energy blocks and so on and so forth, what all of that is, and that we get to clear that energy in your body. And what that does is it starts to reveal the power in your power centers. So when you bring light consciousness into the power centers of the body, the chakras, you illuminate that power. You illuminate that power. So as you become more if you nurture that power inside your body, then your system understands how to hold yourself, how to live more empowered inside yourself. The healer needs to understand how to live empowered in the lower body. In that empowerment, boundaries form, your sense of self gets very strong, you know how to be in the world, you know how to differentiate between what's yours and what isn't yours, you know how to read energy without taking it on. That is the healthy intuitive. And to be able to do that requires, it's a process, and we go through a process. And that's one half is the self-healing. And then there's the healer working with others component, which is what you train, you learn tools, and tools for energy healing and clearing and guiding someone through a process. And that's the training that you learn and develop by studying with somebody. So what I have to offer here is my intuitive healer training program. It is a 9-month program, and there are 2 versions of it. There's one that's online for more of a personal growth, personal development aspect, where you might want to learn skills and tools on how to clear your own energy and how to do your own personal process in clearing through the chakra system and developing more of your gift, but more in a self-paced way. The other option of the program is the certification program. And if you are interested in becoming a certified energy healer, intuitive energy healer in the School of Intuitive Studies, this is your program. It's the certification track. And it is about, if you're going to come to Boulder or come to a location, it'll be listed on the website, where you will study with me live for 2 long weekend trainings. So they go from a Wednesday to a Sunday. And these 2 trainings will happen. The first one will kick off the training, and then the second one will be about 6 months later, about 6 months later, somewhat towards the mid to end of the program. And the program begins in person. There's fantastic rebonding and reparenting that happens, and healer transmission, deep healing that happens in this first weekend. You do not come back the same person. I say that sort of laughing, meaning when you learn what you learn, you don't go back. It is transformational. And we support you in how to integrate that into your life. And by no means is this program meant to set you up for any kind of disruption in your life in any way. It's here to nurture and support you in living more powerfully inside yourself and to come more into alignment in your being. This weekend training is about your personal transformation, your deep healing. We do deep energy work. There's also bonding with your group, your tribe, which you need because the former bonding, which was the old conditioning, may not have been serving you. That might support you in the negative patterns. And here you are learning how to develop new patterns and ways of being in the world with your centered, clear self and being in tune with yourself. So the tribe holds each other accountable for that growth. And, I wanted to say this too, that, intuition, it isn't about necessarily perceiving the future and having all the answers. Intuition is the voice of your soul communicating to you at any given time, whenever you are open and clear for that. And so what I want to be clear about here is that the process of healing, especially in this weekend, is about just allowing you to shed the layers so that you can step more fully into your clear, true consciousness. So once we do the first weekend, then we begin a 9-month online course curriculum. And there are live trainings, video trainings, audio deep guided meditations, guided healings. That's how we do the deep energy work. We don't go through the mind. We go through the deep subconscious into clearing some of these deeper childhood blocks. So you're going to clear through clearing in the program and the guided meditations. Then there's a workbook and homework assignments. And then we have weekly calls. And this is for 9 months. This is a very thorough mentorship style training program. I read your homework. I respond to your homework. I know you. I know your blocks. I know what you're working through. I track your process. And we go through this in the next 6 month period where you're learning about you're learning about your intuition, the 4 aspects of your intuition. You're learning about soul healing, divine contracts, cord cutting, past lives, Akashic records, connection to your spirit guides and angels. I said past lives. You learn about clearing dark energies, entities in your body. You learn to clear those as well. And this process happens, and then we meet again for a second training, and that's where we do the practicum. That's where you start to apply the tools that you've learned to practicing on each other and practicing the work. And then we complete the program about a month or so after with the final module and a final assignment. So that's the training program, and I'm very clear that there's sort of a method to how I teach this program, and it starts with embodiment of yourself, and we work with spiritual and soul healing, and then all the way to connection with spirit guides and angels. And by all means, we have our spirit guides and angels with us all the time, but I don't jump to that work right away. And the reason I don't is because it can be a very blissful place to be. It also activates our upper power centers, which if a person doesn't quite know how to be with the wounds in the lower body or be embodied in the lower body, then we can spiritually bypass the process down there. And that doesn't make an embodied human being or embodied healer. And so my work and my method is about helping you live more grounded and empowered in you as a healer in the world, and opening your gifts from there, creating more resonance and vibration in your body so that spirit guides and angels are a divine match for you because your spirit has lit up in your body. It's activated. So if you are interested in discussing this program with me, I am happy to get on a phone call with you and talk about the program and see if it feels like a mutual fit. I do only accept a certain number of students each offering, each semester that it's offered. So so I certainly want to make sure it feels like a good fit for you, and that it feels like a good fit for us mutually. And I can't say this enough. Now is the time. It really is the time. Spirit is being asked. Spirit's asking us to step in, to really identify and clear and become empowered in these gifts. For many, many, many years, many centuries, this aspect of the human being has been suppressed. It's been feared, actually. So we keep recreating that fear by not acknowledging that it's actually there inside us. And I want to support you with really normalizing your intuition and your gift here in the world. So if you are interested in talking with me, then I invite you to click on the link on this page and set up a call with me, and we can schedule it. I will talk with you about the program, answer any questions, any concerns you have about it. It's a relationship, so I'm here to guide you in this process, and I'm also really asking for a commitment to the 9-month process on your end, that you're really ready to take this big step. And as you give into it, as you put your time and energy and resources and invest in yourself in this process, you're going to see a tremendous shift in this 9-month healing program. So the program, again, is called the Intuitive Healer Training Program. I invite you to schedule a call with me, and I look forward to talking with you, supporting you, answering your questions, and hopefully guiding you on this journey of developing your intuitive healer self. Thank you so much, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.